Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. You know how much we love those aha moments here.
Absolutely, those sparks of insight.
Right. Today, we're diving into what it means to be an impresario.
An interesting term.
It is. And, typically we think about it as someone who's managing a big performance or putting on some kind of big event.
Yeah, the person behind the scenes making sure everything comes together.
Exactly. But what if we thought about it a little more broadly? Like, if you're the kind of person who really loves to learn and have those light bulb moments, chances are you've been a bit of an impresario yourself at some point.
You're right. Thinking back on projects I've been a part of, those times where you had to be resourceful, maybe you didn't have all the tools or the support you wanted, you just had to make things work.
Exactly. And so that's kind of what we're exploring in this deep dive. That initiative, that dedication, when you have to work with limited resources.
It's that make it happen spirit.
Exactly. And to dig into this, we're looking at a reflection on a game project, which is super interesting. And the cool thing about this project was that it was a one-person show.
Oh, wow. So this person was wearing all the hats, programmer, designer, the whole 9 yards.
The whole thing. And I love how the reflection describes it. It says, part of the time I didn't know where I was going with it, but I needed to make it better than it was, so I poured my heart and soul into it.
That really captures that feeling of just diving in headfirst, even when you're not totally sure what the end result will look like.
Doesn't it? And I think that's something a lot of us can relate to, especially if you're passionate about something, like you're driven by this desire to make it better, even if the path isn't totally clear.
Absolutely. It's about that internal drive to improve, to create something new, even when you're starting with a lot of unknowns.
Totally. And here's what I think is really inspiring about this whole story. So despite all that uncertainty, not knowing exactly where it was going, this person managed to actually publish the game.
Wow. So they saw it through to completion.
They did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about, making it the absolute best game in the world, but just making it as good as it could be with the resources they had. And you know what? The reflection says most people loved it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a great testament to what you can achieve when you put your mind to it, even with limitations.
Right. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions or having everything figured out beforehand. Sometimes it's about taking that leap of faith and just going for it.
I love that. It reminds me of the saying that this reflection also mentions. If you choose to do nothing, at best it will be as it currently is, but if you reach for the seemingly unreachable, it can potentially ascend to new heights. It's like, why not take that chance?
It's so true. So often we get caught up in what we don't have or what we think we can't do. But this story really highlights the power of action over inaction. Like, staying put guarantees nothing will change. But taking that step forward, even if it feels impossible, opens up the possibility for things to actually become better.
Absolutely. And who knows, you might even surprise yourself with what you're capable of achieving. This whole idea of embracing possibility really makes you question, where do our limitations really lie? Are they always external, or are we sometimes limiting ourselves?
Right. Like, maybe the biggest obstacle is our own self-doubt. And the reflection touches on this beautifully. It says, never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit.
That's a powerful statement. It
Yeah.
speaks to that inherent human desire to create, to achieve, to overcome. And that's a resource within itself.
It really is. And speaking of overcoming, the reflection mentions someone who exemplifies this idea of pushing past perceived limitations. Wilma Rudolph.
Ah, Wilma Rudolph, the incredible athlete. I don't know her story very well.
Yeah, so we don't have all the details here, but what I do know is she overcame some serious physical challenges to become an Olympic champion. And I mean, how inspiring is that? It's like a testament to the power of the human spirit to overcome anything.
That's incredible. And, coming back to this whole idea of being an impresario, it's clear that you don't need some fancy title or a ton of resources to make a real impact.
Exactly. It's about that inner drive, that willingness to take ownership and make things happen.
It's about being the impresario within, right? Like tapping to that resourcefulness and dedication, even when you're facing constraints.
Totally. Because at the end of the day, that's what often leads to the most meaningful results. And I think more importantly, it leads to a sense of deep personal satisfaction. That feeling of, I did that.
I totally agree. Like, you took something from an idea to a reality.
Exactly. So on that note, here's something I want you to consider. Think back to a time when you took initiative on a project. It could be anything, big or small. But what I want you to think about is, did you feel limited in some way? Did you have to be resourceful? And if so, what did that experience teach you about your own ability to make things happen, to grow, to overcome challenges. Because I think we all have that impresario potential within us.
I think you're right. There are definitely times when we've all had to step up and take charge, even when we didn't feel fully equipped. And those are often the moments that teach us the most about ourselves.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's been a great discussion.
As always. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.